Hello, this is the trade site Forex market preview and international economic data roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, November 1st, 2015, and ending Friday, the 6th of November, as we head into the last 2 months of the year. Unbelievable. 5/6 of the year behind us already. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. You'll notice that we've completed a new 9-bar startup phase to the upside. The last two 9-bar phases, which were both downward phases, led to reversals in the market. So we're right near resistance at that 98 level, and we got a new 9-bar startup phase. That tops us out. The target on the downside would be the red line that you see down around 94.5. So that's the goal on the dollar index, or we build sideways and start to actually get ourselves the red numbers towards a extended seeker exhaustion count, which would be like the high you saw back in April. So if we do push up, that's what we'll be looking for there. Here's the euro dollar, pretty much the inverse of the dollar index as it has been for quite a while. Here's the pound dollar, also very flat the last, let's call it 6 months, basically been in a narrow 700 pip range for 6 months and not showing any signs of breaking that at the moment. Here's the Aussie dollar. You'll notice the green static trend line that's in place there from the new 9-bar startup phase. We almost got to the red static trend line below on the move down. Here's the pound yen, also been pretty flat. And here's the euro yen. All right, let's look at the intra-week action. This is 30-minute candles on the various pairs that we tend to trade. We're going to start by taking a look at the euro dollar index here. Excuse the that for getting in the way. So this is what we did this week, and it wasn't very exciting until the Fed, obviously. It's kind of drifted around Monday, Tuesday, very flat. Wednesday, we had lifted off a bit. And then, of course, we got the 2-day Fed meeting and the Fed announcement that came from that. And that caused the big spike up in the dollar, down in the euro. That's virtually untradeable when that happens that quickly. And then spent the rest of the week recovering that. Had better action on Thursday and Friday than we did prior to the Fed announcement. So overall, the range for the week here actually is not even 200 pips. So be aware that's very narrow range total, even though you see that big spike the way you do. Here's the pound dollar on the other hand. We made some money here this week. This one, 240 pips of range, much smaller spike on the Fed announcement. Still fairly flat Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday had the Fed, then it spiked, and then Thursday and Friday were much better to the upside. Here's a look at one of the cross pairs, the pound yen, trading about 300 pips of range for the week. I wouldn't say it's an overly exciting week. We did pull some money out of the market, but it wasn't spectacular. All right, so let's take a look now at the economic data that's coming out the next week. By the way, we do have the time change here in the U.S. Saturday night going into Sunday, and in Canada. So that's going to shift back from last week when Europe had theirs, but we did not. So it usually takes a day for everything to get in sync technically after that. So Sunday night, Monday might be a little slow. AIG Manufacturing Index out of Australia, their MI inflation gauge, building approvals, that's all Sunday evening. Japan's releases their final manufacturing PMI. China does the same. Monday morning, commodity prices out of Australia, retail sales out of Switzerland, Spanish manufacturing PMI, the same out of Switzerland and Italy, France, Germany, and the broad European sector, all within about an hour of each other. And then the UK as well, 30 minutes later. We've also got Canada's manufacturing PMI and then the US one, ISM. So everybody doing their manufacturing PMI numbers to start the week. We've also got construction spending here in the US at 11 a.m. Well, it's really 10 a.m. 30 minutes into the market. These calendars are off by 30 minutes before the time shift. So 30 minutes into the stock market on Monday. Japan's on bank holiday going into Tuesday. ANZ commodity prices out of New Zealand. Cash rate announcement. So that's like the Fed out of Australia. Spanish unemployment change. Construction PMI. This is all early Tuesday morning Eastern time. Factory orders out of the U.S. We've got GDT price index out of New Zealand. Total vehicle sales out of the U.S. Unemployment rate out of New Zealand. This is Tuesday evening here in the U.S. Monetary base out of Japan. We've got retail sales and trade balance out of Australia. Japan, going into Wednesday, has their consumer confidence number at 1 a.m. Eastern time. Europe has got a variety of services PMI data: Spain, Italy, France, Germany, then the broad European one, and then the UK. I feel like these are really organized now, straight down the list. Europe puts out their PPI at 6 a.m. Eastern time. I believe that's actually 5 a.m. once the time change hits Eastern time on Wednesday morning. We've got a Fed member speaking. We've got the non-farm employment change ADP number out of the U.S., trade balance out of Canada and the U.S., an hour before the bell. That's on Wednesday. So we'll be half size ahead of Wednesday night. That's one of our big 3 numbers each month for the Forex markets. You don't want to get caught in spikes there. Final services PMI out of the U.S. We've got Fed Chair Yellen testifying to Congress. ISM non-manufacturing PMI 30 minutes into the markets. Crude oil inventories, that's the weekly number. We've got some Fed members and RBA members speaking. Japan releases the policy meeting minutes from their last Bank of Japan meeting. More Fed members speaking. 10-year bond auction out of Japan, and we head into Thursday where we've got the SECO consumer climate number out of Switzerland, German factory orders, CPI out of Switzerland, the ECB economic bulletin, retail PMI out of Europe, retail sales out of Europe, 10-year Spanish and French bond auctions around that time. UK does a data dump with Bank of England inflation report, the official bank rate votes, monetary policy statement, official bank rates. We've got the Bank of England doing their rate announcement. Challenger job cuts here in the U.S., and then the weekly unemployment claims number here in the U.S., non-farm productivity, preliminary unit labor costs. We've got a Fed member speaking. Canada does their IV PMI data, the weekly natty gas number from the U.S., another Fed member speaking. A lot of speeches this week. AIG construction index out of Australia, leading indicators out of Japan going into Friday, German industrial production, French government budget balance, French trade balance, foreign currency reserves. UK's got their manufacturing production and trade balance and industrial production all at 5:30. I think it's 4:30 a.m. I think this is all off by 1 hour. 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. Then in Canada, we've got their unemployment data and their employment change data. U.S. has the unemployment rate as well in the non-farm payrolls number. That's a big one. So again, that's one of our big 3. We'll be half size ahead of that number as well Thursday night going into Friday, and then consumer credit in the afternoon, and that's it. So do not forget to set your clocks if you're here in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., just be aware that things are a little different in terms of the timing of the volume. Countries are not the same in sync as they were last week. We will be calling it In the Lab as usual. Charts brought to you by eSignal 12. If you've not taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We'll help you out for a couple of weeks. And have a great trading week.